everyone. Welcome to today's session. I'm Faraz Ahmed, the training manager at IE Real Estate Institute. IEREI brings you yet another informative session as a part of its Open Knowledge Initiative, and we have many more sessions lined up for you. For those who are new to this platform, the Innovation Expert Real Estate Institute provides the most demanded licensing certifications, professional development courses, and international recognized designations offered by a constellation of renowned award-winning industry leaders. Now, before we start the session, I would kindly request the attendees to type their topic-related questions in the chat box, and we will answer them during the Q&A session. Now, not taking much of your time, I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Mr. Faraz Ahmed. He is associate in JLL MENA region team. Mr. Faraz does extensive industry and economic research along with market data and macroeconomics analysis for various sub-markets throughout the MENA region. He is also responsible for creating JLL quarterly market overviews and assisting in various top leadership publications in the MENA region. And today he is bringing you the real estate market updates and latest trends. Mr. Faraz, the session is all yours now.
Hi, everyone, and thank you very much, Sophia, for the introductions. Just a short from my end. My name is Faraz Ahmed, as Sophia mentioned, and I'm a senior manager in the JLL team. I've been working in the real estate industry for the last 7+ years, and I do a lot of contribution towards thought leadership papers as well as leading the quarterly market overviews. And we want this session today. I will be presenting on the real estate market trends and insights for Dubai real estate market. And we want this to be an engaging session, so we have kept a Q&A session in the end. Please feel free to share your questions in the chat box while I'm presenting. I'll start sharing my screen now. Please let me know once everyone is able to view the screen. Is everyone able to view my screen?
Yes, we can.
Great. So firstly, I will be talking about a tale of 2021, what we are seeing in 2021 and what is happening here. So in terms of these are basic key factors that influence demand in any real estate market. So for Dubai, when we are looking at key factors, these are the ones that we have put down that you can see on your screen now. So in terms of population, Dubai's population is expected to grow by 1.1% this year in 2021 to reach around 3.45 million. And there will be the recovery is actually expected next year with a growth of 4%, which is pretty much equal to pre-COVID levels. And this is expected in 2022. When we are looking at employment, although the employment decreased by 9% in 2020, we can expect the employment to grow by around 1.6% this year, and then stabilize, or you can say stable growth of 3.6% until 2025. When talking about regulations, the government has come up with multiple changes in regulations and policies in order to attract residents and to help citizens alike, which are going to be providing a boost to the real estate market in the medium to long term. Few that come to my mind right now, such as the multiple long-term visa options that are currently available, as well as the availability of UAE nationality, which was never there on the table before. So these are a few things that are going to put boost in the residential sector. Then there are also the 100% commercial ownership. The government is not only trying to attract investors and encourage entrepreneurship, but they are also at the same time reducing the cost of doing business as well as the time which it takes to set up a company in Dubai. All this is going to provide a boost to the commercial sector in the long term. When looking at from the home ownership part, we have seen so many headlines saying that the transactions have increased, and we have also been known the fact that a lot of end user activity has increased. These are facts, and when we look at it, you can see that the initiatives that have been taken on the side are the ones which are encouraging these transactions. So, for instance, the LTV ratio was recently increased for expats to 80%, and then for UAE nationals to 85%. And with the all-time lows of EBOR at zero point 0.5 as of September, these are all encouraging end users to buy more because they have access to good mortgage rates. Then how is the post-COVID world going to look like? In terms of post-pandemic, many behavioral changes will stick and they will become the norm, not just the exception. We have highlighted key ones on the screen that you can see. First and foremost is e-commerce. Now that the pandemic, it has accelerated the growth of online services, and e-commerce and retailers and everywhere around the world have taken a note of this, and this is only going to grow in the future. Similarly, second that is going to be having a big impact is the home working and flexible working. Now that millions have experienced how home working and flexible working works, this will become the new normal. And it's going to be, that's why a lot of multinational corporates have been announcing hybrid working models. So after this is the housing preferences. Because of how we are, well, because of the way the pandemic accelerated a lot of changes, one of them was housing preferences. Now, there's been, from the consumer side, there has been more demand for open and green spaces. And because of the first 2 points which I discussed just now, which is home working, flexible working, and housing preferences, these are going to have an impact on the overall commuting patterns, with flexibility and variety being the new normal. As I mentioned, because of the pandemic, the space that we live, work, or spend our time are changing. I'll be covering all four sectors and how the pandemic has influenced all of this and what are the latest trends in each of these sectors one by one later on in my presentation. Talking about the office sector. So, well, there have been a lot of negative headlines. So we try to look beyond the negative headlines and what are the actual trends at the moment. So looking at the trends, there have been a lot of, you can say, new inquiries, especially from the tech and e-commerce business sectors, and mainly focused on towards prime office space. So which is causing a polarization and a two-tier market with more higher demand for grade A office space and grade B's office space suffering because of the rentals that are easily accessible for grade A at the moment. Then tenants are increasingly requesting for flexibility in leases, which and a lot of incentives are being required from the landlord side or are being offered from the landlord side. And similarly, for when we look at from tenant side, requirements for office relocations are currently on hold. And what we are mainly noticing is companies are focusing on downsizing and reducing costs. Then how is the future office space going to look like? The future office space is going to be relaxed with seating densities, and it's not similar to what we are used to. It will be taking into account the new normal, and we can expect to see more relaxed seating densities. Similar to seating densities, we will be having more formal and informal collaborative areas because office space is going to be needed. And as we have seen this as soon as the social distancing measures that were in place until last year have started to reduce, we have seen more and more people returning to offices with a lot of businesses at now full-time working from offices. So we are still going to be needing office space. It's just that the way we used to operate in the office space will change. And there will be a more focus towards amenities such as green spaces, collaborative spaces, and sustainability and health. Now, looking at the office supply, currently in Dubai, we stand at 9 million square meters, and around 40,000 square meters was delivered in Q3. Overall, throughout the year, I believe it was close to 90,000 square meters that was delivered, and major completions included the Dubai waterfront development in Dera. So looking at the future supply now, in terms of future supply, there is no expected future supply for this year, but in next year, 2022, we expect another 70,000 square meters to be delivered. And in 2023, we are expecting close to 250,000 square meters to be delivered in the market. Most of the stock that is currently available in Dubai is grade B. It is dominated by grade B, and there's limited stock of grade A, just 28%, which is concentrated around the CBD area. And we have noticed that the market is operating in a polarized manner, where there is high demand for grade A and grade B is suffering at the moment. Looking at the rents, we can see that in terms of prime rents, so on the chart, you can see two lines. The red line represents the prime rent, and the gray line or black line represents the grade A CBD. What we consider CBD or central business district is the area from downtown to DIFC and both sides of Sheikh Zayed Road from the first intersection all the way to the Trade Center roundabout. So this is what we consider central business district, and the average grade A rents in this particular area currently are standing close to 1,685 per square meter per annum, and they decreased on annual basis by 1%. They mainly remain almost stable when we look at the chart that since 2020, they're almost at the same range. The main reason they did not reduce is because there is strong demand for grade A quality stock, and that's why they have maintained their premiums. When it comes to prime rent is also stable at 2,691, and this is mainly the highest rent achievable in the market. Living, now living is basically what we call residential is living for us. In the residential sector, we have noticed it's generally resilient. It's a resilient real estate market in Dubai. And although there were short-term delays in construction for the construction activity in Dubai, but there's a strong pipeline. And now we have also started seeing new launches from developers. Now, in terms of tenants, again, for the first time in Dubai, tenants are also demanding flexibility for lease rates and length of leases that they can sign on a residential contract, which is quite interesting. And then in terms of the overall activity in the residential sector, we have started seeing more end user activity and started to take more ownership. In terms of supply, we currently stand at around 630,000 units, and roughly 11,000 units were delivered in the Q3. So out of these 11,000 units, 80% of the new supply was mainly dominated by apartments. And then there's additional 23,000 expected to be handed over by the end of this year. And then in 2022, we expect another 44,000 units. The materialization rate is going to be low, as we can look at from the historical numbers. So out of this 44,000, some of the supply will be more delayed until next year. But majority of the future stock, it is concentrated in areas of around Dubai Land and MBR City. Sorry, around Dubai Land and MBR City. Now, looking at the performance of the residential market, first we'll talk about sales, and then we will talk about rents. In terms of sales, villas are the ones which are currently in high demand and are causing the overall market to pick up, which is very good. In terms of numbers, villa prices have picked up by almost 18% on annual level, and apartments are also following. They are only roughly 3%. They have increased by 3% when compared to the annual level. Again, in this chart, the red color, it is for the overall general market. Black is for apartments, gray is for villas. So we can see that how quickly after 2020, so the sale prices for villas have started to show an increase and recovery. Overall, we can for the general market, which is this red market trend, it is 4% that the prices have picked up. The story is slightly different for rentals. When it comes to rentals, the villa market is performing good, where rentals for villas have picked up by 16% and rental rates have grown by 16%. But when it comes to the general and apartments, apartments are down by 5%. And when it comes to the overall market, it is again down by 3%. So they will also start to show, they have started to, you can say the decreases have started to reduce, but they are still down compared to what it was last year. Then in terms of retail, within retail, the key theme will be flexibility. Now, if we look at the retail market, even before COVID, the retail market was suffering because of significant supply that was in the pipeline, as well as changes in the consumer habits. And after COVID, it has been quite hard, and the retail market has started to show signs of, or you can say started to open up, where we can see a lot of increase in footfalls, and all of that is positive, but the recovery will be in the mid to long term. Then because of the rise in trend of online sales and e-commerce, now in all the retailers, they're looking at this omni-channel retailing. And there, from occupier side, occupier demand for large fulfillment centers, parcel hubs, and local parcel delivery centers has been noted. In terms of supply, we currently stand at around 4.1 billion square meters, and roughly 40,000 square meters was added in Q3. On the overall annual level, I believe it was close to 200,000 square meters that was added during the year. And we expect another 75,000 retail space to be added by the end of this year. And next year, it's for around 500,000 square meters. What's interesting in these numbers, and what you need to keep in mind, is this: the fact that majority of the future stock is consisting of super regional malls, typically which are above 90,000 square meters. And these, even if one mall moves or gets delayed and moves to the next year, it will have a significant impact on the overall supply pipeline. While looking at the retail rents, what we currently have noticed is that, so over here, the red line represents the prime rent, primary, and the black line represents secondary rental rates. Primary rates have been reduced. They're down by 14% on annual level. And there's more demand for secondary centers, and they are the ones who currently are performing better. That is because of they rely more on the catchment population rather than the footfall from international tourists, as opposed to the primary malls, big super regional malls. So there's more demand, and the overall, if you have to put a number of how much is going for the overall market, I would say it's down by 1% for primary as well as secondary malls. But there has, for both retail and office, the market is tenant friendly, and tenants are they're in a good negotiable, they can negotiate good deals for their current leases. And specific to retail, there's more demand for local brands and more focus on local brands that are coming up. And it is it's encouraging for local brands to start setting up retail tenants in bigger malls. For the hospitality market, hotels market was the hardest hit after the COVID restrictions. And because of the double-digit declines in RevPAR, it will take some time to recover. So right now, the recovery is a bit challenged. Then what will be what will be the trend would be the priority will be placed on hygiene and well-being, and that will be the focus of hotel operators. Then currently the demand was being led by local demand or domestic demand. It is, as the market is open up for international tourists, it is slowly recovering, and there's more of 4- and 5-star hotels, leisure hotels. Those are the ones which are benefiting at the moment. In terms of the supply, we currently stand at 137,000 square meters, and roughly 10,000, sorry, not meters. We currently stand at 137,000 keys, and roughly 10,000 keys are expected to enter by the end of this year. In Q3, there were no major hotels which got completed. And next year, we expect another 9,000 and then 4,000 the subsequent year to be handed over in the market. around 70% of the existing stock in Dubai, it consists of 4 and 5 star hotels. But for future stock, the percentage of budget hotels is increasing and it will keep on growing. And for in terms of the future supply for this year, which is around 10,000, mostly it's going to be concentrated in areas such as Palm Jumeirah and Business Bay. In terms of performance, what we have noted is for the year to August figures, Dubai's occupancy rate increased to 58% compared to 38% for the same period last year. And average daily rates are also, they're down by 1%, but currently standing at 131 USDs. So this is what I have the presentation for. Now, I'm happy to answer questions that have been raised. So please feel free, and I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed, for enlightening us with the latest trends and updates. If candidates would like to speak to you or ask questions, they may. We can unmute them. Or if they want, they can type the questions in the chat. I believe the presentation was very, very clear. Any questions from our attendees? Can we receive the presentation material which has been shared? Yes, we are actually recording this and we will be posting it on our YouTube channel. So you can definitely go and review it again. Any other questions from our participants?
Yeah, so I can see this
information. Perfect, please, sir.
Yeah, so yes, this is relevant. This is for Dubai, but in UAE in general, if you're asking something specific, I can answer that for you if you have any questions. Yes, the supply performance numbers which I gave, they are Dubai specific. But in terms of the general trend, overall trends which I mentioned, that is for the overall market. Okay, in terms of Abu Dhabi, yes, the residential market in Abu Dhabi is also, it is almost the same trend where sale prices have started to show an increase of around 4% year on year. Over there also, it is being led by villas, which have taken the lead in terms of increase in prices. But when it comes to rental, it is stable. It is 0%, neither increasing nor decreasing.
It's about the expo.
Okay, so do we think Expo will contribute to the growth figures you mentioned? Okay, so do you mean, see, Expo is a very big event and it's going to have a long-lasting impact on the real estate market. We have already seen the opening up of the borders, and all of these combined are going to be having an impact on the real estate market. We can't quantify percentage of what Expo is going to be contributing to, for instance, in the prime rental growth or rental growth, but definitely it's going to be having an impact. So see, in terms of how will Expo 2020 to increase property prices and demand, there will be increase in prices. We have already started to see sentiment which has improved, and because of the sentiment increase, we have started to see these increases, which I was presenting earlier. And in terms of margin, what we expect in the future, sale prices will definitely be increasing. And I believe I did cover the margins, what has happened so far, and it will be a wealth for everyone to share. Will it increase demand on villas apartments? currently the recovery is being led by villas, and they are the ones highest in demand, specifically because of the changes in consumer preference, where there's move towards more green and open spaces.
Any other questions from our attendees? That's a good one.
That's a very good question. So we don't get a bold to tell the future, but hopefully these signs are good, and I hope for the best that the market will be. The sentiment has improved. My market is showing signs of recovery, so all of this is good for the market, and I will hope that this continues. Sorry, there were quite a few which I missed. I'll just scroll up.
Regarding the residential in Dubai, do you see people moving into Dubai, rental and sales both, from neighboring emirates such as Sharjah, for example?
Okay, so this happens quite frequently. Whenever the real estate market in Dubai starts to go down, starts to go down, we see movement of people trying to go for it. So people who are already in the emirate, they look for bigger spaces because the rentals aren't low now. And people who were initially not able to afford apartments or places to stay in Dubai, they start moving back to Dubai from Northern Emirates. There's always this trend has always been prevalent. And the opposite happens when the rental starts to increase, where they're not able to afford and they have to go to Northern Emirates.
How will DLD ensure we don't see a drop after Expo on both sales and rental demand? Wow.
Sophia, are you going to take that question? Okay.
Well, okay. It's not related to either JLL or IERL's Institute, but definitely if you want an answer to that, we can get back to you. If you could send us an email. Because we are related to DLD. We are associated with them, but we need to get an answer to that question, and we can only answer it if you send us an email, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. All right. In some areas, demand is too high. Why is that?
In some areas. So these are areas which are well developed and currently showing a lot of demand, especially because of the prices that the transactions were occurring in these areas, and also because of the rentals that were being offered. And what makes a community more attractive to current consumer is it should have amenities, open spaces, green spaces. That is what is attractive to the consumer of today's consumer, and any community which is catering to those demands will be high in demand.
Okay, any other questions from our attendees? Okay, so that's Miss Elizabeth, your email address. Fine, okay, so you want us to send an answer to that question to this email. Perfect, we'll do that. Office demand will be increasing after Expo?
Okay, so we have already started to see increase in inquiries that we are receiving from tech and e-commerce companies looking to expand their office space. And there is demand for grade A, good quality office spaces. And this is likely to even be further exceeded now. Okay, what is grade A and grade B? These, it's the quality of office space available. Just to give everyone an idea. So for example, an office space in the IFC, good quality building, that's what we call grade A. Grade B will be something in Dubai, where it's old and it's not, it is, in terms of amenities, they will be lacking amenities compared to a grade A building of high quality office space.
Is the road to retail recovery longer?
Okay, so again, a very good question. So the road to retail recovery longer in terms of, could you please specify a bit more? What exactly are you looking for? Uh, so in terms of the retail market, we have started to see for F&B, specific F&B operators, they have started to see that, yes, the demand has started to go back up. And especially
There's,
after now,
it's in
yeah,
comparison to the residential. This is what she wanted
yes,
to say. Retail
yes,
in comparison to the residential.
yes, compared to residential, it will definitely be a bit longer.
What will be the future of retails after increase in online shopping? And what will be offices' future of office spaces after work from home?
Okay, so in terms of future after online retailing, so physical stores are not going away because we have seen increase in the footfall for malls, and this is mainly because now the retailers need to concentrate or focus more on new experiences, and we as consumers we prefer more new unique ways to to say and see the brand, and physical stores are not going away even though online stores have picked up and online sales have picked up, but still there will always be demand for retail spaces and physical stores. It's just that the way we used to interact with the brand has changed, and there needs to be more focus on new consumer experiences and how they can how they can relate to the brand in a new, unique way using technology or other things available to the brand. And what will be the future of office spaces after
After
work?
work from home.
Okay,
Yeah.
so as I mentioned earlier during my presentation, even office spaces are not going away. Now, the way the office space is looked at or can be looked at, it will be major. There are a lot of international corporates who has already announced they're going to be following hybrid work models, and well, office space, the way we used to use it, is going to be changing. It's just that previously, if they were high densities, now it's going to be less density areas and more of collaborative spaces, formal or informal collaborative spaces. But we will always be requiring office. And people have shown willing to, they're willing to come back to offices and they want to come back to offices.
What are primary and secondary retail malls?
Primary, it is a high performing mall, something like a super regional high good quality mall, something similar to, you can say, Dubai Mall, Mall of the Emirates. These are all primary malls, and secondary will be something which is not on the something below that range.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Faraz. We'd love to hear from our participants. Your feedback is very crucial for us to improve our upcoming sessions. Please do let us know what topics you would like us to offer in the future. And we will be sharing a link for your feedback, and we will share the results with Mr. Faraz as well. Thank you once again, Mr. Faraz, for investing your valuable time.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. It was great speaking here. Thank you very much.
It was great having you as well. Attendees may stay updated with our free webinars and upcoming sessions by our official website, which is www.ierea.ae, and our social media channels. And we are posting all our webinar videos on our YouTube channel. So for the ones who've actually missed it, they can go and watch the videos online. And kindly accept IEREI's team's sincerest gratitude for investing your valuable time in attending our sessions. Stay safe, stay blessed, and bye for now. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Faraz.